psychic intellect and made you my puppet.
It's a bullseye! And here's your host, Jim Boyd!
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for running speed!
Sir, there's another starship coming in. It's the Enterprise.
Bone, your shoulder bone connected to you. Neck bone, your neck bone connected to you. Head bone, now hear the word of the Lord. Them bones gonna walk around.
Take a base of action. Green group, skip across the holding sector of each other.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap.
.007 Triple X.
Bond, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British end up, sir.
Nobody does.
Sorry if I scared you. You'll like this bit.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Good evening, good morning. Happy Sunday to everybody, wherever you are in this world of ours. I was just watching that, my intro. I like my intros, right? Which is why I watch them. It gets me in the mood for the show. I just think, what would James Bond do with the government that we have there? Like, what would happen with James Bond if he was working for the... I think we can only describe them as the fascist Keir Starmer government. What would he do? I think he would probably go rogue and bump off Starmer, right? I think, for that matter, he might bump off the king as well. They both seem to be reading from the same was it hymn sheet? Actually, it'd be quite a good James Bond movie. I would like to see it. They wanted to do like a series with the Daniel Craig ones. It didn't really work. Actually, you know what? What really didn't really work? They tried to do the same James Bond movie like over and over and over again, and it kind of failed. You had the last Pierce Brosnan one was the shitty one with the invisible car, right? And was it Koreans? South Koreans? North Koreans? Was it? Yeah, and the diamonds in the guy's face, and it was just shit, okay? It was a shit James Bond movie, right? But that was the first one where James Bond had been captured and he's kind of like, retired and out of the game, right? That's basically, so they did that. And then they did that again, not in the next movie, which was Casino Royale, you had the next movie, Casino Royale, and then Quantum of Solace, was also a bit of a shitty follow-up to Casino Royale. But then they did the same movie again with Spyfall, which was excellent, right? But it's the same thing. Bond was injured in duty and he's basically out and he's clawing himself back, right? And then I think they did they do it again? I can't remember, right? They've done that same movie many times, right? And I don't know. No Time to Die was just boring. I'm sorry. I wanted to like it. And putting so much weight store on, what's her name? The Bond girl from what was that name of the one again? From Skyfall. Was it Skyfall? No, Skyfall didn't have a Bond girl. It was now what was one after Skyfall? Oh god, really? I'm gonna have to look them up. Really? I guess so. James Bond movies. They had, what was it? Spectre. Yeah, that was also reasonably shit as well, as I recall. Right. Okay, wait. I said the Daniel Craig ones were Casino Royale, excellent. Fine. Die Another Day was the one where Bond is like, captured and then clawing his way back, essentially. Then in Casino Royale, excellent. And by the way, the best. Eva Green was the best Bond girl. I mean, just fantastic. Quantum of Solace, fair. It was like the second half of that of Casino Royale, and it kind of like dull second half at that. Spyfall, again, excellent, but also James Bond killed and coming back out of retirement. And then, yeah, Spectre, he fell in love with the very, very dull woman. I can't remember what her name was. And then she was still the femme fatale in No Time to Die. Right? And they had a kid. I can't remember. Yeah, they're just, and that's the trouble with the Daniel Craig Bond movie. Daniel Craig was good, right? And I remember the shit he got when he was first cast about how he could never play Bond. He played him very, very well, right? He played him very well. Was it Clive Owen was the one that everybody wanted at the time, and I think would have been better. I don't know. Daniel Craig, I think, is a pretty darn good actor, but where are they going to go this time? You know, I actually thought of a way. I don't know where this came from. But you had season 14 of Doctor Who, where it was the new Russell T Davies era, and he's very consciously introducing the idea of Doctor Who to a new audience that weren't interested. They just went, goodbye, and they just said, oh, we'll make up some ratings. People will like that. They'll make up ratings so you feel less stupid, right? So they did that, and the way they introduced it, I thought was reasonably bad. Here's a great way to reintroduce Doctor Who, right, to a new audience and also have it work for an old audience too, is I would start in some kind of sci-fi setting, some kind of very recognizable sci-fi setting, something that we've seen many times before. It's not hard, I'm saying be a cliched sci-fi setting, right? Some, spaceship with a woman inspector fighting something, right? Or like some colony plan. But okay, imagine this. Imagine Kinder. Kinder's a great story. You haven't seen Kinder. Shocking production values. Watch the new special effects, so that really helps. Well, man, what incredible performances. What an incredible script, right? But imagine Kinder done on a big budget, right? Take out the Nissa's going to sleep off the episode in the TARDIS or something. So they don't know what to do with three companions. Was it Nissa they put away? I think it was Nissa, right? That's why she slept through the whole story, I think, right? And so you have this like colony world. They're observing the natives again on a big budget, so it looks decent. And then the Doctor comes walking through it, right? A new Doctor, somebody we were, but that's a great way of introducing the Doctor, right? By having everything being very cliche, traditional, and what you expect. And then you have the Doctor walk through it, being the Doctor, right? And I think that, and you could actually open up with a more intelligent opening. Which, boy, that was a bit. Yeah, we haven't had intelligent Doctor Who since Capaldi, since 2017. It's incredible, right? It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, we've had a dearth of Doctor Who for a long time, 7 years. Now, how long was the hiatus for? Because this is way worse than the hiatus right now. The hiatus was from 89 to 2005. So that's 16 years. And we still got time to go. Still got another 9 years to go to match up. But this is worse because there's Doctor Who on. It's just not recognizable from Doctor Who whatsoever. And then, much like the Streets of England, not recognizable as the Streets of England in any way, shape, or form. It's just so crazy, man. So if you tweet something, you will be in trouble, right? Especially if what you tweet is true. Yeah, not good at all, right? That's not good form. And like, I find it so strange that the entirety of the print media, the traditional media, is just going along with this story, right? Sadly, the king somewhat let himself down again. I always want to be on board for him, but man, tell you, he's not his mother. Oh, he's not his mother. It's very, very sad. King Charles tells Prime Minister Keir Starmer, encouraged by the way Britain's compassionate community spirit has encountered the aggression and criminality of racist thugs who rioted after the Southport stabbing. Now, they are very much treating this the same way the Americans treated January 6th. If you don't know January 6th, I don't think anybody could, LBC will probably say it, but I don't think anybody could, with any knowledge or intelligence or honesty, say that January 6th was an insurrection like we were led to believe, and that's why they hid all this exculpatory footage, all this exculpatory evidence of like people not rioting, or people just wandering in. I mean, like, honestly, I mean, people just turned up at the Capitol, no barriers, nobody saying no, walked in, looked around and left, and then 3 weeks later, the FBI kicked their door down at 2 a.m, at like 5 a.m. or something. It is. Yeah, it's unbelievable, right? And I'm seeing exactly the same thing now. This like swift, this swift justice. Yeah, that normally means lack of justice. Now, the people who have been arrested and sent to jail, I don't know what they did, right? I do not know what they tweeted, what they did, what they didn't do. Maybe they are bad people, but one thing is for sure, for 100%, absolutely crystal clear for sure, this narrative is bullshit. And there is two-tier policing. There is very clearly and obviously two-tier policing, two-tier judiciary, two-tier everything, two-tier politics, two-tier everything. You know, the 100 right-wing protests. Firstly, Keir Starmer just saying, "Oh, right-wing thugs," and then like completely not answering the legitimate concerns, right, of uncontrolled immigration, which is what Britain's seeing, and they're seeing it. They've seen it for about 15, 20 years. I think they're seeing it since the Blair era, and I think this is where Tony Blair wanted to come to. I think he wanted to, you know, I think he was embarrassed and ashamed of Britishness, along with I think most of the wokies. They're embarrassed and ashamed of British culture, and they want to see it diluted away. But I don't know why they think this migrant culture is superior. But they want to see it diluted away to that. And that's, I think, very clear to anybody watching. Again, if you're being vaguely honest or informed, right? It's but it's really shocking the speed in which this has happened. And apparently now they can be fined £100 for swearing on the street in England. I mean, honestly, how much more draconian can you? Well, I guess you're going to find out. I mean, it is very, very quickly turning into a Chinese-style communism. So let's look at, where should we go for first? Let's look at this. All right, so I would say the relentless, and it is somewhat relentless, false claims that Israel is performing a genocide in Gaza is incitement to racial hatred, because Israel is clearly not doing a genocide. And there's a war there, right? And people get killed in war, but I believe the civilian casualties proportionally are far lower, and in actual numbers, far lower than the British and Americans achieved in Desert Storm, right? So I want to tell you about that. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There's no genocide going on in Gaza. There's a war going on, and boy, do I wish we could prosecute that war in the same way that any other country could prosecute war. Oh my God, it would have been over much quicker, and there would be a lot more people dead, and nobody would care, right? Nobody would care. If 100,000 people were killed in 2 days, nobody would care. Nobody would care at all, unless you can blame it on Jews, right? And that's really, so there is no genocide going on. That's just factual. Is Mr. Starmer, I wonder, going to have a robust, swift justice for people screaming free Palestine? People screaming from the river to the sea. Is he going to? Obviously not. Why? Because they politically align with him. So yeah, let's look at somebody clearly inciting racial violence against Jews by lying their fucking head off, although they may believe their lies. But by lying their head off over and over again, which, because they politically align with Keir Starmer, they're not going to get touched, right? And that's really where you are right now. Yeah, check this out.
Of Israel, potentially by British arms.
Okay, the squatter entity of Israel. I just want to, I don't talk about this enough, but Israel is the most legitimate country in the world. It was formed by the UN. And then the Arabs said, "Fuck you, Jews, we want to kill you all." And they weren't able to do that, and they call that the Nakba, right? But just so you have an idea what the history of the occupied territory, what they are. In 1948, they apportioned this land to Israel, right, and to form a state. We were immediately attacked by the surrounding Arab armies, and we lost territory, right? The West Bank, right? Again, that was proportioned by the UN to a state of Israel. Then 19 years later, we were forced into yet another war, the 6-Day War, and we did miraculously well, and we won back that territory. So again, let's say if people from Cardiff invaded England, right, and they took I'm trying to think of some place in England. They took let me look at an English map, okay? What is it? UK map. Okay, well that's useless. Can I get something a bit bigger? How about Google Maps? Let's see if that helps. Google Maps, does that take me to? Okay. Fine. Where's Cardiff? Cardiff there. Fine. Okay. Let's say now I'm looking at a map. I'm going to talk about this vaguely intelligently. They came across and they invaded and took over Bristol, right? Which is I'll share the screen with you, so you can see if you're as challenged by geography as I am. This will make it much clearer. It's Chrome tab. Where is it? Fine. So where am I? We go over here. So, okay. People from Cardiff, right? They go across the channel and they invade Bristol and they capture Bristol, right? They now control Bristol. And then 19 years later, there's another war and the British get Bristol back, right? Is Bristol therefore occupied? Is it being occupied by the British? Well, that's essentially what's going on with the occupied territories, right? This was land given by the UN to start a Jewish state that was lost in a war of aggression started by neighbors because they are racist and they hate Jews, right? And now it's occupied territory, right? But again, that just gets lost in all the screaming. So the squatter entity of Israel, excuse me, darling, we're the indigenous people of Israel, right? We have a history going back there thousands and thousands of years. The name Palestine was invented by the Romans to the Roman invaders, the Roman occupiers, to depower the Jews, right? That's where that name came from.
Those in the audience who are questioning how is Palestine related to today's anti-racist rally.
Given that the Palestinians are all insanely racist and they hate Jews, right? And I think anybody who says no to them in any way, shape, or form.
And the pogroms we are seeing being committed against.
Pogrom, you fucking cunt! I mean, really cultural appropriation much? Pogrom, please. What pogroms are you seeing? You're seeing a war being prosecuted in the most humane manner that this planet has ever seen a war prosecuted. So again, all this is pure violent hatred directed to Israel, the Jews, right? They say, oh, I'm not anti-Israel. I'm not anti-Jewish. I'm not I just hate Israel. I'm not anti-British. I just hate Britain. I'm not anti-French. I'm not anti-French. I just hate France, right? No, you're anti-fucking Semitic, right? That's just the way it is. This falsehood. There is a genocide and there is a obscene occupation and oppression going on is a nonsense, and it is an incitement to violence, and it is an incitement to racial violence that has stopped Jews from being able to walk the streets of London for coming up to the best part of a year. Okay, best part of a year coming up to a year now, right? Because of the squatter entity. So is this woman going to get her knock on the door, and is she going to be in jail by the end of the week? Because at that point, that's all you have to do to prove there's not a two-tier policing. And boy, would I love to see them come down like a ton of, but they're not going to. They're not going to. Why? Because they politically align with one another, and that's the name of the game.
So our Black and Asian community, what I will tell you, it is connected. Yes. The very existence of the squatter entity of Israel.
Squatter again. Why is she not arrested? I honestly, why is this woman has not been arrested for inciting racial hate? This is far more extreme than retweeting. I believe the woman who's been been held for like over 48 hours by the police right now retweeted the wrong name of the stop book killer, right? Intimating that they're Muslim. But here's the issue with that. It's not that he was Muslim. It was the authorities, the police, the government. When there is egregious crime coming from that particular minority, then they do cover it up. So, I'm saying that this might be the first time that they weren't covering up. And of course, it was connected to immigration, wasn't it? As we found out in the end.
It's based on Israel's ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people.
Again, it's been decades. Don't think we could have done it in an afternoon, you dumb cunt? Really? If we're ethnically cleansing you, why are you still fucking under our feet? Really?
And their racist apartheid policy.
There is no racist apartheid policy. You can't point to one racist apartheid policy. We all live by the same. And again, this is in how many? This is in 20 seconds. Racial hatred, incitement to hatred, incitement to hatred. Is she going to face the full weight of the law? And if she isn't, Keir Starmer is full of shit.
Which dictates the day-to-day lives of the Palestinian people living in their native land.
Excuse me. This is our native land. We're happy to live with you. The only rule is this. Literally, the only rule is this. Stop trying to kill us. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing we uppity Jews are asking for. That you don't try and kill us constantly. Right? No, you can't put up with that.
And with Israel's sophisticated system of illegal checkpoints, daily executions of Palestinian people.
What daily executions? What? I mean, again, this is an insane, racist, hateful worldview being shared to incite hatred against Jews successfully. I mean, like, so because children are scared now. Oh dear, maybe we want to crack down on this bullshit, and maybe they'll be less scared.
People across the West Bank, illegal apartheid walls, water rations based on religion, imposed.
Absolute. Again, not one thing she said so far has been true. Water rations based on religion? Are you out your bloody mind? That doesn't happen. Again, she might believe everything she's saying, and she probably does, right? But why on earth? Why on earth is this being allowed to happen in this new, the new kinder, softer Britain?
By the squatter entity of Israel, Palestinian torture camps,
Palestinian torture camp. Again, this woman should be getting 50 years at this rate.
Illegal Israeli settlements and illegal occupation of large swaths of Palestinian land, all under.
I mean, that Palestinian land that was given to the Jews by the UN, that Palestinian land, and then you attacked us, trying to murder us all and take it away. That Palestinian land, you thought, yes.
Pinned by an international criminal court ruling that Israel is committing genocide.
No, that's not what it said at all. It said they were concerned that Israel may be committing a genocide, which they're not.
And are practicing apartheid.
No, they didn't. They never said we're practicing apartheid. I'm sorry. It's a charge that you just cannot say. If we're practicing apartheid, why aren't we apart? But we're not. Again, you go down any street in Israel, you find Jews, Arabs living and working together. That's the reality.
Is the reason why we are seeing racism against predominantly Muslim communities.
Could be predominantly Muslim community, because predominantly Muslims have been spewing racial hatred for loudly, vehemently, disgustingly at Jews for a long time, and especially since October 7th, right? Maybe people are sick of the predominantly Muslim Jew-hating genocidal marches that go through your cities every week. Maybe, they would like you Palestinians who live in England, or the Muslims living in England, to adopt British values, and those British values do not include lying your ass off based on religious grounds because you hate a religion, right? To defame them and having giant rallies through your cities every week screaming that they should all die, right? And die horribly, right? That's not a British value. Maybe they're fucked off at that. Maybe they're fucked off at the two-tier policing where you get to spew hatred and say whatever the fuck you want, whenever you fucking want to say it, right? And if anybody else says anything, they're like, "Oh, you racist cunt! How dare you?"
Because Muslim lives, Palestinian lives, and brown bodies have been dehumanized
by Muslims, by Palestinians. Because the only time a Palestinian life matters is when you can blame a Jew for taking it. If it's a Jordanian, and how many Palestinians were murdered by the Jordanians? 100,000, 200,000? Anybody claim about that? Oh, no, because it's all Muslim, it's all right, isn't it?
Our mainstream media and by our mainstream politicians. Their silence is complicity, and that's what fuels racism.
So again, let's contrast this with the good people in charge, right? The Starmer's police state.
Important that we maintain high alert. I've obviously been here at the control room of the Met.
Hey, any of you two cunts notice that racist diatribe yesterday? And believe me, the other guy said, "Let's slit all the right wingers' throats." He's going to be let off.
Looking at what's essentially the nerve centre, but my message to the police and all of those that are charged with responding to disorder is maintain.
I mean, honestly, by the way, that police officer is very hot. The one next to him. Whoa, who is she? Okay, you can arrest me, darling. But Mark Rowley, and again, this is not an incitement to violence, please, obviously not. But if I suddenly became emperor of the world, one of the first things I would do, amongst the first things, not that important, I would have Mark Rowley, the commissioner of the London Met, flogged publicly, along with Sadiq Khan, along with Keir Starmer, for being the disgusting little globalist socialists that they are. It used to be national socialists were the bad guys. Now it's globalist socialists, and they're exactly the same thing.
At high alert, I'm absolutely convinced that having the police officers in place these last few days in the right places, the swift justice that's being dispensed in our courts.
Again, is that only going to be against white people, or are you going to go in after any of your precious Muslims?
Had a real impact, but we have.
And what about all this, like connecting Nigel Farage to all this, where he had literally no connection?
To stay on high alert going into this weekend because we absolutely have to make sure.
Yeah, and they're all congratulating about what a good job they did. I don't think there was this organized right-wing racist movement going on at all. I think people just got so fucked off and so annoyed at more at all this violence coming from different non-British cultures coming into England, right? I think, and it overspilled and it got deadly and got violent. And look, again, in no way, shape, or form do I think it was a good thing to try and burn down the migrant hotel, right? I think that was a bad thing to do, right? But in the I think it should be police in the same ballpark that violent riots, mainly Muslims, doing it, have been treated, treated, right? Or in the same ballpark, but no. Again, and you know why? It's partially ideological, but mainly cowardice. Especially, I would say, from was it Mark Rowley, the head of the Met? They look. When they see a bunch of Muslims people on a demonstration, they're normally shouting, angry, and very scary. And the police are scared of them, and they don't want to provoke them. So they don't put on riot gear. They're not scared of white people because white people, generally speaking, have British values, and they're not into shouting and screaming and like bullying their way into getting whatever they want. People don't like doing that, generally speaking.
Our communities are safe.
What about the Jewish community? Is that safe? No, it's not safe, is it? Oh, it's so disgusting, right? It's so disgusting. And Nigel Farage actually he actually put it. Let me find it. I've got to go. Nigel Farage. So yeah, the official opposition right now seems to be Elon Musk, right? He's the only person in any way, shape, or form pushing back against this tyranny, which is what it is. It's just pure tyranny. So Nigel Farage, and even Nigel Farage, I think he's got to be careful because again, they are treating this like the Americans treated the January 6th narrative, right? Which is not good, right? And I am convinced this is directly connected to the pro-English protest that Tommy Robinson put together about a week or so before all this kicked off. I am convinced it's connected to that. Anyway, so Farage points this out.
Asks a very important question. Why do the UK media, with a few exceptions, just parrot the government line? Well, I'll tell you why, Elon. It's dead simple. It's called consensus. It's called when everyone gets together with groupthink and says, open borders are fantastic.
Yeah, everyone gets together and says, no, without fear or favour, there is no two-tier policing. And they get so mad when they say two-tier policing. But and you know, I've actually heard some people defend it now with a bit of a deep dive, say, no, we have no policy called two-tier policing. No, it's what you're actually doing.
Come in, everybody. We don't care whether you speak our language or share our values. We don't care about the population explosion, meaning our kids can't get houses. You see, for them to ever admit, all of them, the Conservative, Labour parties and mainstream media, to admit they got it wrong would be to go against the worldview they've held for decades. They believe they are the kind, lovely people. And anyone that believes in borders, believes in culture.
That's really the issue. This is why it's been such a wet dream for white liberals, right? Because they get to be virtuous. I mean, you can bet David Tennant is loving this. Oh, I feel so bad for being white. Oh, yes, I feel so bad for being white. Georgia, could you do this? I'll piss off, David. I'm busy being a feminist.
Believes in community, believes in country. Somehow, we're the bad dudes. There are some exceptions. I do my best, and one or two others do as well. But that's the answer to your question. It is groupthink. It is a refusal to accept they've got this horribly, horribly wrong, as we've seen on the streets of our country this week.
Looking at this from a more theological point of view, I think this is. I honestly think this is something being done to help Trump win the next election. But from God's perspective, I think they look over at England and go, holy shit! And they see this is exactly what a Harris Waltz campaign is going to be like, right? By the way, that's just gone really totally bizarre. Check this out. So did I get rid of that clip? Oh man, I wish I didn't. Maybe it's in here. No, I got rid of it. What a bummer. Anyway, let me just check over here. Now, where Trump was saying no taxes on tips, right? That's the thing that he's been really pushing right now. No taxes on tips. And now Kamala Harris is saying that as well, right? Really, really weirdly. And of course, you know, the entirety of the media carries all a group thing, like Nigel Farage says. So Trump, this is from today, right? Trump accuses Harris of stealing his no tax on tips promise after her campus rally in Las Vegas. She won't do it. She just wants it for political purposes, Trump wrote on social media. So that's Fox News. It doesn't it accuses her because she is, right? And this is from Fox News from February. Biden's IRS plans to crack down on waiters' tips. Okay, there's not really much you can say about that. By the way, this is what it says about visiting England if you're coming from China. Check this out. If you fly Air China and land in London, you'll receive one of these pamphlets. See what it says? London is generally a safe place to travel. However, precautions are needed when entering areas mainly populated by Indians, Pakistanis, and black people. We advise tourists to not go out at night, go out alone at night, and females always to be accompanied by another person when traveling. I mean, like, that's not a good sign. So anyway, people are saying Kamala Harris is doing so well. I mean, just look at these crowds; they're incredible. Wow, look at all these people come out to see her. That might not be the case, however. There's some videos which look like they've augmented the crowds considerably by AI, and this one's a hit. So again, I don't know what's real, what isn't, but they're saying, look at the reflection in the undercarriage of the plane. There's nobody there, right? You're not seeing any crowds there. We can zoom in, go over here. Look at that, right? Like, so you see the reflection, and there's literally nobody there, and there's like hundreds of people in the foreground. I think this is AI, right? I think this, because everything is just a substanceless con, right? It's just a completely substanceless con, which is why I think, honestly, what I think is going to happen, it's just like Biden effortlessly blew himself up by having a debate. I think at some point before the election, they're going to blow themselves up there's only so much of this shit you can pull with it being workable. But yeah, that doesn't look like it's real. Right? It does not look like it's real. Meanwhile, JD Vance, I'm loving JD Vance, right? He eviscerates. Oh, yeah. He eviscerates the was it Tom Waltz? Where is it? Yeah, this is so good.
On the question of when he left.
Right, this woman, Dana, whatever her name is, she's one of the stupidest people. I mean, she's got to be dumb, because nobody can pretend to be this dumb. She is really dumb.
The National Guard, he filed his election paperwork February 10th, 2005. That was a month before the National Guard even announced that it was possible that they would deploy to Iraq, and it ended up being 2 months. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork.
But on CNN last night, Dana.
So the whole controversy is he keeps saying that he was in war, right? He was carried guns in war. That's why he has the anti-gun legislation now.
One of the people who was actually in charge of him said they knew they were going to deploy to Iraq in February of 2004. Fall of 2004. So he knew he was going to Iraq. He decided to quit, to retire, whatever word you want to use.
Retire.
Because he wanted to run for Congress. He lied about that. He said that when he decided to retire, he did not know that he was going to Iraq. That is another untruth, as even his senior military officer said. So again, I'm not criticizing.
I mean, all these lies are going to catch up with you sooner or later.
Criticizing the service, I'm criticizing the dishonesty. Dishonesty spoken in favor and for the purpose of political benefit. And I think that the most important thing here, Dana, is it goes.
I'm surprised they aired this, quite frankly.
To Kamala Harris's judgment. Tim Walz is ultimately going to be the vice president. Kamala Harris is in great health. I'm sure she's going to be president if she wins for 4 or maybe even 8 years. Why did Kamala Harris choose a person who has lied about their military service? I think that is a serious lapse in judgment. And I don't want to hear from a campaign spokesperson of Kamala Harris. I want to hear Kamala Harris herself.
Yeah, that's the thing. She can't respond to anything because she's a moron. I mean, like, honestly, this seems to be the cat lady campaign. If you look at her campaign rallies, it's all old, single white women who have nothing in their life apart from cats. Now, don't get me wrong, I like cats. I like cats a lot. I got my little cat, Whitey. She's very, very cute, right? I like playing with Whitey. It's very purry, nice cat, right? But cat ladies are not the people I would use to as a barometer of the North Star of where we should be heading.
Address what I just said.
You know, I've seen a lot of statements from veterans, including those you served with, saying it's just untoward to be criticizing somebody who served for 24 years.
Dana, I'm not interested in the ad hominem. I've heard from a lot of veterans groups who criticize Tim Walz. The question is, he said he served in war, and he didn't. That is a dishonesty. I couldn't care less what one or the other person says about it. I care about what the truth is. The truth is that Tim.
I mean, that's the thing. It's a campaign. It's same with Star in England. This is a campaign of complete and total falsehood, like smoke and mirrors, right? Which is what Sam was doing in England with the far right demonstration. It's smoke and bloody mirrors.
Walz didn't tell the truth. And importantly, Dana, this is about Kamala Harris's judgment. And I think that when you ask, why has Kamala Harris allowed the border to be wide open? Why has Kamala Harris supported policies that have...
Man, he is good, this guy. He just completely redirects the conversation.
Promoted the increase in inflation. I think it goes to the heart of her judgment, and I think that that's what we should be talking about.
One last question. Donald Trump didn't serve in the military. He received a medical draft deferment for bone spurs to avoid serving in the Vietnam War, reportedly as a favor to his father. Do you find that shameful, too?
I think that Donald Trump didn't serve in the military, but he didn't lie about it, Dana. I've known Donald Trump for a long time. He really honors our veterans. He honors me for my service. Donald Trump didn't lie about serving in the military. He didn't say that he went to Vietnam when he didn't. This is the problem. I don't criticize anybody, whether they served our country or not. I think it's honorable to serve, but obviously a lot of people have reasons for not serving. I criticize somebody for embellishing their record, for lying, saying, I went to war. Dana, do you think that it's a problem that he said, I went to war, but he didn't actually? That seems to be a problem to me.
Well, they've corrected that. Let's move on to...
well, again, she's so shit at this job. It's unbelievable.
By admitting that
Let's move on to another important issue to voters.
Man, we're living in very strange and disturbing time. Although, listen, tomorrow night, oh God, it's starting. Tomorrow night is the big Jewish fast of the year, Tisha B'Av. It starts at I think about 7:20 or so. Now, and you got it. Oh, it's okay. There's one things I don't do. You have to have this thing called Suda HaMaseches, the final meal, right? Where you're supposed to sit on the ground and you're not supposed to sit on a chair until midday the next day, which I don't do that. I'm like, dude, I'm not sitting on the ground, leave me alone. And because that's what mourners do. But this meal is supposed to be bread, a boiled egg, which is a mourner's food, and some ash. I'm like, I can't. I tried many years over. I can't. It's too gross. Okay, I'm not going to go into this 25-hour fast retching. But I am hoping, there's all these rumors about some kind of terrorist action on tomorrow. Maybe Iran will step up and try and do something. I don't know, right? I don't know, but man, I am just hoping. Like I was talking to a rabbi friend of mine. I'm just like the worst case scenario is nothing happens. Like it's more banality. They say the generation that doesn't see the end of the exile, which is the Jewish temple being rebuilt, is the same as a generation that saw it destroyed. Right, they're the same level of wickedness and evil. Tend to agree with that. Quite frankly, I do tend to agree with that. I see that being very, very true. Man, it's so bizarre. I mean, honestly, it still shocks me how just literally nobody does what God says, right? And it's just so bizarre to me. So why do we live in this mutated reality of exile, right? We live here because we were shitty to each other and we talk shit about each other, right? And it's not, honestly, genuinely, it's not even a road, a speed bump. Right, it's not even a speed bump to stop people doing stuff like that. It's unbelievable, and they just do it. And I'm not just saying it. Basically, everyone does it without a care in the world. And right now we're in, and I think the whole October 7th, where we are as a nation right now, is entirely connected to us being shitty to each other. Right, I think it's entirely connected to that, and yet still, we're not allowed to ask, what do you think? What do you think? What's up with that with God? Why do you think God did that with October? We're not allowed to ask that because we all know the bloody answer. The answer isn't because God's super duper happy with you, right? The answer is, it's the opposite, right? But, just ever so freaking terrified of being wrong. And that's really what it is. They are. Same with the British, the Tories, Labour, they're terrified of being wrong. They can't imagine how awful it is to be wrong. I know. Honestly, there's a what's the word? A parable. It's not really the right word, but kind of, right? There's a apocryphal parable that at the end of days, the righteous will see their evil inclination, and it'll manifest them as a giant mountain of diamond, and they're going, "How did I manage to hold that back all these years?" Right? And then the evil, right, which is most people, will see their evil inclination, and it'll be like a tiny blade of grass. So how did I let that tiny blade of grass walk all over me? And it is like nobody even has considered saying sorry to God. I mean, honestly, if nothing else, October 7th should tell you that God's fucked off about something. Maybe we as a people should say sorry, even if he can't work out what it's for, even though it's very obviously what it's like. How much clearer can it bloody get? But again, people who don't want to hear. A much better parable is this, right? It's the episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets his hand caught in a vending machine, and they can't get his hand out, and they say, "I'm sorry, Mr. Simpson, we're going to amputate your arm." Right? And then he goes, "Wait, Mr. Simpson, are you just holding on to the candy in the vending machine?" Yes. That's us, right? That is us. We could end this war tomorrow. We could end the totalitarianism that you have in England tomorrow. We could end the sea of evil in America tomorrow. Really good. I mean, we really could. If we just turned around as a people and said, "We fucked up. We were wrong. We are sorry we spoke shit about each other. We're going to try not to do it in the future." And that's really, you don't say be perfect. That's really it. You just got to try not to do it in the future. Don't hold your breath, mate. Although I'm hoping something will terrify people into doing that. Oh, yes, that will be. Although trouble will probably scare me as well. Until that's all about bad influences. Oh, Sydney, you look fantastic as a bad girl. Nothing bad ever came from listening to bad influences. I think this is particularly one of here. Where's the full Sydney Sweeney? Let me see if I can find it. Is this over here? I think so. There you go. That's the AI. I had it holding a pitchfork, right, in the prompt. But it came out as some cooking ware, right? So I airbrushed it out. There you go. But yes, looks fine. Now initially it was a delinquent schoolgirl, but I thought this gets the point over a little bit better. Russell T. Davis's bad influences. Just how did he get it all so wrong? Yeah, I was reading another thing today where he's like going, "Oh, well, this was an inspiration to me." I'm like, well, why was that an inspiration to you? That's like the worst idea. That was one of the worst things to ever happen. Like, why on earth would you let that absolute dross inspire you to do anything whatsoever? That sounds like a very, very bad idea. Right, so we will be looking at that tonight. I'm just going up what I have on the docket. Got that one there. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe we'll talk about that. There's a weird article about Death Comes to Time on Bleeding Cool. I wonder why they brought that up, but I guess we'll find out. 50 a bit of a Jodie stuff. One controversial Doctor Who means Doctor's real name no longer matters. Doctor Who does no longer matter, right? What's the thing I've read about Russell Davies saying? Oh yeah, no, that was the idea I had. No, I don't want to go there. I think there. Fine, we got a bunch of trailers to look at. Cape Crusade. I still got to try and watch that. Got to try and watch it as well. Alien, we can talk about Alien. I am really into Alien, by the way. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. What was that article I was reading? I can't remember now. Big Finish, still for CAC, right? That site is still. Oh, here it is. Yeah. That site is still insanely for CAC. Man, actually, I'm hearing rumors that the development team is blanking them and not responding to their calls. Right? That's bad news. That's just bad news. I'm sorry, Big Finish, mate. That doesn't sound like it's going to work out well for you. Fine. Let's get to the chat. We have Colin Archer there. Then Colin Archer. Ooh, you're first. Well, we're happy that you're first. So you missed yesterday's stream, but my internet side got strike. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. The OTS status is here. New Snow White trailer looks awful. We will be looking at that in a minute. Like, who do they think this is for? Well, actually, no. Like, on paper, it was the live action, which was actually animated Lion King, did very well. And what's the name? Did Snow White did very well. Not Snow White, Cinderella. The one with Hermione. So we go. Just Darren M is here doing Darren M. The Slaughter Engine is here. Yeah, it's so stunning and brave to ruin Disney's first movie. They should remake the Daleks and have me as the first Doctor. Oh, Keith up. Well, absolutely, yes. You know, I would say that Jodie's Doctor is only slightly more unbelievable than the Peter Cushing Doctor. Right, I would say yes, that's about right. Peter Cushing Doctor. I mean, especially in the Dark, Doctor in the Dark. It's not Doctor Who and Dalek Invasion of Earth, which was a bit more sort of gritty, I would say. Although didn't have Mr. Rumbold in it. I like Mr. Rumbold as the guy, selling the underground stuff, like the black market guy. But they had somebody else in the movie. I like a bit Mr. Rumbold. I don't know what to tell you, mate. Excellent 577 is 8. Excellent 577. D said Jessica Alba, Gal Gadot. Jessica Alba. Gal Gadot does not turn me on. Jessica Alba. What she look like today? That's the question. Jessica Alba 2024. Let's see what she looks like now. Yeah, okay. Definitely shaggable. I'm trying to find more pictures of her. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think she's sexier now than she was when she was younger, weirdly enough. Yeah, I'm just trying to find a decent picture of her. There you go, that'll do. She's a bit glammed up there, but... yeah, this is her at the 2024 Oscars. Where'd that picture go? Come back here. Where'd that picture go? Come back here. We'll try one more time. There you go. So, yeah, look, again, yeah, definitely Jessica Alba over Gal Gadot. 100%, right? 100%. But Sydney Sweeney, that's the winner, baby. That was DL's winner. Divining Dragon is here. Doing Divining Dragon. Thank you for joining us. Quantum of Solace was, I think, the only Bond movie which I would call a direct sequel to the previous one. Well, you could say that about what was it again? No, it wasn't a direct sequel. What was the one where he finally killed Blofeld? Was that For Your Eyes Only? He dropped him in the helicopter. I think that was for Your Eyes Only, right? Because he was by the grave of Diana Rigg. Yeah, but again, if they wanted to do I was talking about at the beginning. They want to do a Bond, like a Bond era, which built upon itself. They really need to work out where they want to go at the beginning, and build in that direction. Like the idea of a Bond climbing back out, back into being fighting fit. That seems quite interesting. Dr. Alex is here. So I was hearing an interesting bit of news with Dr. Alex. Is that the 11 Labs, which does the AI voiceovers, they got a bunch of new functionality, including removing everything but the voice from an audio. Which means I've always wanted to get Sylvester McCoy's voice and have him read the New Adventures, but I didn't have enough dialogue of his without music. So now I'll just I think I can probably generate enough by doing that, right, and be able to make a copy of his voice. That'd be interesting, right? That because I really think somebody should be doing that. Yeah, the only trouble is this: it's the the digital copies I have of the new adventures are there's always tons of mistakes in them that I have to go around and fix, right? And then there's like words you have to transliterate a lot. It's a lot of work. Like the one I did, the millennial rights, that was a lot of work, right? I had a better idea what I was doing as I was going. Donald Dangan says it seems they were more desperate to try to link the stories, but didn't have a plan for Craig's entire run. Well, yeah, look, the first one was like Bond begins, and then it was Bond ends. The Bond begins, Quantum of Solace, and then Bond ends, and then Bond begins again, right? Man, Spectre was a dud. I kind of like the guy they got lined up with it. What's this game again? Name again? He looks like a Bondable actor, right? Respectfully, Eva Green may have been the second best Bond guy. Jane Seymour. Well, honestly, I would say, what's her name? This Colin Archer show. It is a strong opinion, I would say. I would say Jane Seymour's good, but I prefer Barbara Buck, right? In Spy Love Me. She was stunningly gorgeous in that. Jane Seymour, I don't know. Look, honestly, maybe it's because she's like round all these like big black dudes. It feels like kind of a gangbang thing going on. Doesn't really do it for me. I bought the Bond film. I just didn't watch the last one with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's contributions. I am sure they were taken out. I am convinced they were taken out. Right? I'm sure that what was it? No Time to Die was heavily re-edited because it got pushed back a year or two because of COVID. And I think the deal was it was going to end with a Loretta Lynch gun barrel sequence, and they just like cut all that stuff out because they were going full force into a black female 007, right? And then they saw what a freaking disaster it was going to be. But I'm pretty, and that's why I think the movie was so disjointed and didn't really work, because they re-edited it and it wasn't what it was originally supposed to be. You can kind of tell that with. I mean, I think they did that in 73 Yards, the Doctor Who story, which just didn't really make any sense because I think they re-edited it. Oops, sorry. Hang on, come back here. I think they re-edited it to tone down the politics because they saw how freaking awfully it was going. Fine, we'll be up to this. That's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the destroyer of franchises, and yet still making a Tomb Raider for some unknown reason. Live and Let Die is Dr. Alex's favorites. My favorite line in that is when he's being trailed in Harlem by this black gangster guy, and he says, "Yeah, man, he's like a white bull on a snooker table, on a pool table. I can't remember. On green velvet. You can see him for 18 years. Who's 18 years? I have no idea. I would say it's been on a hiatus since 2017. I would agree with you. Jan 6, one death shot by a police officer. That's correct. Jan 6 was, again, what they're using the Stockport riot for. Right? And I wouldn't even be surprised if the Secret Services were involved in creating those riots. Media is training us to distrust the state-sanctioned. Media is training us to distrust the state-sanctioned narrative, says Divine and Dragon. But I think they're trying to do the opposite, right? And the more they do it, the more distrust it is. Perhaps crimes were committed, but innocent protesters are routinely arrested. So I no longer trust I don't trust a damn thing coming out of any of them, I'm afraid. I am still waiting for someone to actually explain what's the point of stating a point for what is the starting point for far right? They won't. They can't answer any. Look. You want to know the people of that mindset. You want to see how smart they are. These are the people voting for Kamala Harris. Yeah. Yeah, of course he stresses her female clothing. Yeah. What, you think you're going to get any intellectual debate out of that brain trust, do you? Good luck, mate. Good luck. The one possible error, like these agents have no sense of history. We just need to need some pre-modern cussing. We could go to frack, I guess. But they, again, look, man, they are getting so totalitarian in England, right? It's really disturbing, right? It's really, really disturbing. Can't say Swindon. Isn't Swindon in Wales? I'm sorry, just fed up about hearing about politics. Well, dude, it's everywhere. What do you want out of me? Right? It's I would much rather we just talk about Doctor Who and good Doctor Who. What honestly, what I wouldn't give to live in a loop from 2010 to 2015. When things were good, right? Judea was a Roman province, yeah, but they renamed it Philistine, Palestine, to piss off the Jews, essentially, when they exiled them. Where are we up to? Squad entity. Yeah, I know. Dr. Davies, I do wish the Wokers knew how indistinguishable they are from the naughty National Socialists. Again, the only difference between the National Socialists from the 1930s and them is they're globalist socialists, right? Of course, two-tier Kira is full of it. I just thought it would be slower and more subtle. It was slower and more subtle with Biden. But Keir Starmer was like, "Yay! Let's destroy all of, all freedom! Yay!" Trump is our last hope to just started. I think Trump is going to win. That's my. I thought that before, but I hope I'm right. Where we up to? PD Richard, how you doing, Peter? Sorry, I just blanked you there. How you doing? You'll struggle to get a breakdown of the crime figures and demographics of who commits the crimes because they don't anybody to know. Not everyone can be skilled with AI. Well, I think they're paying people that are, right. Again, I really think I think this crowd is AI, right? I think that crowd is AI, and it would make sense, right? It's a good prop. They've done well with that. But I think that crowd is AI. I think it was like a third of that, quarter less. Oh, mate, I don't know. There's a lot of it about you can't trust anything. I think they'll steal again. Well, they're definitely going to try, right? They're trying right now. There's all these illegal aliens signed up to vote in all these countries. Dave Muller said another Big Finish website hasn't been updated in 2 weeks. Because it's broken. They can't fix it, and they don't know what the fuck to do. Right? They're doing well that they got people managed to get into their accounts, but man, I like playing with Wiley. Just got to actually clip that out. Well, that's me for you. Record time between start streaming and getting to the chat. Record long or record short? Because I was about the same last night as well. Again, it's what's the name? It's was it Divining Dragon? Somebody said it like there's too much bloody politics. I agree with you, man. Do I agree with you? Soda Engine, I say. No, I said Eki Bai. Oh well, see you, Soda Engines. Note the signs point to the camera. Well, no, I didn't note that. That's maybe they're double-sided. Maybe they're double-sided. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. That'll be weird, wouldn't it? That would be strange. Fine. Let's get started at the geeky stuff at last. So there's a lot of trailers dropped, and some leaked, some officially released, which I thought was all pretty cool. Wait, before we do that, look, this is actually genuinely cool, right? This is Hugh Jackman doing the ADR, the voice-over stuff for Wolverine, doing a fight. The Wonder of Movers. I actually saw. I thought this was a different clip where it's like a bigger fight at the end. So sometimes things are fun. Neville is AJ Neville. Was that crowd for Russell Davies' triumphant return to America? No. That crowd was non-existent. Right? So let's start off with let's start with Snow White, because that looks epically awful, right? Absolutely epically awful. I have to tell you, I mean, listen, other than Rachel Ziegler being a moron cunt, I think she looks okay for the role, don't you? So this has been completely redesigned, because it was, 7 hipsters, right, of varying racial skin tones.
So, whistle while you work.
Man, this is going to flop so hard. Who's this for? This is going to flop so hard. Yeah, I don't see Gal Gadot being worried about Rachel Ziegler being hotter than her.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
Yeah, I think I'm on team Evil Queen. I bet they completely reshot that. I can't imagine it making a penny. Can you? I mean, I can't imagine it making a penny. Who's going to want to see that? I mean, how many die-hard Snow White fans are there out there? Yeah, again, I don't see it as being I don't think anybody getting douche chills. They're like, oh, look, the 7. Well, you can't. Dwarf is a bad word, isn't it? I don't know. Little people. I don't know. Latina Tad and the 7 CGI monstrosities. Says Peter Rich. Not far wrong, right? Not far wrong. More interesting, and I think actually might look quite good. I think the Marvel Universe might be set to turn around. I really do. They really seem to be trying to. So this looks like quite a decent movie, this trailer. Let's see if we can...
Everybody, Kevin Feige!
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, this has been leaked. It's not... Wait, is this set in the Star Wars universe? That looks like North America. That does not look like the Star Wars universe to me. I'm sorry. That looks way, way too boring. And again, this is Star Wars, isn't it? It's just boring.
Test will set the course of your entire future.
Oh, of course, it's a stunning and brave woman.
Don't you ever want to do anything exciting? Like what? What if we could go anywhere we want in the whole galaxy?
I don't believe Jon Favreau has a damn thing to do with this.
A real adventure. No more pretend. I found something buried in the woods. What do you think it is?
So they're so going for a Stranger Things kind of vibe, right? They're like, oh, Stranger Things, let's do that with Star Wars, right? Yeah, apparently Marvel got rid of all the woke employees. Yes, I do think, but they all went to work at Star Wars.
I think it's a lost Jedi temple.
Yeah, this is like Goonies Star Wars. This is like, what is this?
Hello? Be careful where you step. We're lost.
Man, I'm so not interested in this show. Oh my God, I'm so not interested in this. Wow, that looks really bad. Like, what were they thinking? What on earth were they thinking? I don't even know what to say. This looks shit.
Really lost.
Tis dangerous out there in space. Trust no one.
Wait, did we get through the entirety of Star Wars without there being any cute kids ever? I think so.
You're a Jedi.
Let me see if there's a synopsis. Skeleton Crew. Let's see if there's a synopsis of it. Official trailer is not coming. Do you have any idea what Nick Frost is in it? Bloody hell. I mean, like, yeah, look, I understand that you wanted to be in a Star Wars movie, but there aren't any Star Wars movies anymore. That being said, I think Jude Law as a Jedi is probably a good idea. Better than, what's his name? The one who's in everything now? Naji Kamiyani, or they try to put him in everything. It looks really bad. Let's see, the upcoming series, blah, blah, blah. Premise: the series follows 4 children who end up on an adventure to make their way home after being lost in the galaxy following the discovery they make on their home planet. Yeah, this looks, oh God, this looks like it's shit. It really looks bad. Science fiction coming of age adventure. Bloody hell. Oh, that looks really bad. Like genuinely awful. I got literally nothing to recommend of that whatsoever. But speaking of generally bad, looking really awful, let's go and look at this. And we're not talking about the Big Finish website. I think that Meggie can sum in 3 words. Good luck, everybody. Rip-off of Starfleet Prodigy much? It's just a rip-off of everything. It's so insanely derivative, right? So I started looking at this. I didn't want to go through the whole thing. I mean, first it's Ben Cook. But they're talking about the reveal of the Legend of Ruby Sunday. And it just wasn't very good, right? And so they got catches up with Shooty Gatwa. So Benjamin Cook interviews Shooty Gatwa, Bonnie Langford, Gemma Redgrave, Yasmin Finney. Oh man, I love finding Yasmin Finney. That will be interesting because like she did nothing in that episode. There was no point for her to be there whatsoever. Noble truth. Let's see what this is. Okay. Yasmin Finney, who plays Rose Noble, is delighted to return to be joining the forces with Shooty Gatwa's doctor at last. We just missed each other in the 6th anniversary. The gig. I mean, you didn't interact with her. Him. God, so bloody complicated. They didn't interact on in this episode either. She just stood there with a tablet as Lenny Rush's mobility scooter deployed machine guns for no fathomable reason whatsoever. It was just no discernible reason why anybody would build it in, but never mind. That's just Disney Star Wars. We just made her then giggle. She says, so it's about time. Shooty was the first one who posted their emojis, wasn't he? What emojis? On May 8th of May 2020, a few hours before the Doctor Who casting broke, Shooty teased us with an image on Instagram, 2 hearts and a plus sign and a blue box. And then it became a trend. I thought Russell Davies is that, says Yaz. And now it's a thing. And so when it came to me 8 days later, Yasmin posted a rose with a blue diamond. Everyone knew that it was about Doctor Who before then, but she hadn't even told the nearest. Was it? Everyone knew it was about Doctor Who before then. She hadn't even told her nearest and dearest. There were family members who didn't know. Look, the family members who don't know what sex you are, darling. Let's be clear. You bamboozling people by with your family members. It isn't so complicated. There were some family didn't know I was going to be in Doctor Who. She says guiltily. Okay, when they find out, it was insane. Since Yaz smoked, she's Yaz now. Last spoke to Doctor Who magazine in 597. Her debut episode, The Star Beast and The Giggle, have aired. Has she enjoyed the reception to her character? We all fucking hated you. You are absolutely useless, and you. I think one of the main reasons this new era of Doctor Who completely failed. Right? I really genuinely believe that. It's been amazeballs, she said. Well, of course it has. It was better than I expected, to be honest. I was prepared to for the worst. You know, Doctor Who is loved by so many. There's a broad range of people who follow it. Well, again, and that broad range of people, if they reflect the greater society, 98% of them don't think that people with penises are girls, right? Yeah, that's just. I know you think that's like, you know, like the Holocaust or something. It's really not, darling. It's really not. So I knew some of them wouldn't like it because they grew up with the Doctor, and I grew up with it, and other people feel like they own it somehow. They feel like their opinions are no, it's not that we own it. Oh God. Okay. Well, I do own this cup, right? But I also subscribe to the definition of this cup, right? This cup is a vessel to hold drinks in, right? If you make it full of holes, it doesn't work. Or penises, right? It doesn't work, right? So it's not that we own Doctor Who. It's that we say Doctor Who is this, as it's been defined very, very clearly over 60 years. And it's not you, right? You're not, you don't fit into it, right? They feel their opinions with it. I grew because they grew up with Doctor Who. What was it? I mean, everything is about being so much of a drama queen, isn't it? You know, Doctor Who is loved by so many people, and such a broad range of people follow it. So I knew that some of them wouldn't like it. Again, most people, and the viewing figures have been a disaster. They've been a disaster for a reason. So he said, I grew up with it, and people, okay, fine. So you can be in Doctor Who, but don't make it all about you being a chick with a dick, right? The minute you make a show a queer show, it's only about being queer, right? That's the only thing it's about. There's nothing else. Yeah. And that's what happened. And Doctor Who isn't a queer show. So it's great that you grew up with it, and people feel like they own it somehow. Now, again, people like the definition of things because that's why they like it, right? They feel like their opinions are more important than what's happening. I guess. Well, wait a minute. Their opinion is what's more important than what's happening. What's happening is you're trying to convince us that it's normal to be a lady with a pee-pee, right? Yeah. I'm not on board with if that's what if you're referring to that about that's what's happening. So I guess I was cautious, but there had been so much love. Yeah, believe me. Toxic fandom wrap themselves around you. Yes, I was already a hero to millions for her role in Teen Alien Netflix's Heartstopper. Oh, a show that she works perfectly in. The reaction to that was something else. She said, I didn't see that coming. I knew it would mean a lot to many people. And again, what about the people that you've really destroyed Doctor Who for? Like the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, all those people. Man, Who would have thought that group will get together? I was open to that, but there have also been many more positives. So I'm happy Heartstopper happened, but I am so delighted that Rose Noble is back on Doctor Who. I feel very surreal. I feel like I'm just getting started, so there's so much I want to do. Oh, God, we'll do it somewhere else, darling. Just do it somewhere else. Imagine that unit were building this in the 1970s, says Phil. It reeks of 70s. I was talking about the time window thingy, which was just another idiot bad idea. Oh yeah, but speaking of idiot bad ideas, there we go. Let's talk about the influence of Russell T Davies. The two-part finale is, of course, a sequel to 1935's Pyramids of Mars. No, it fucking isn't. No, it. Why? Because of that. The doggy. Right? No, it's not a sequel. Ding-a-ling. It was a classic, says Russell. Sutek, the one who waits. He's never been called the one who waits. Waits no more. Yeah, never before was he called the one who waits. Or maybe he was. I don't know. I don't remember him called the one who waits. Returning to unleash holy vengeance upon us all. Russell was inspired. Again, we're talking about the inspirations of Russell T Davies. Like another one of his great inspirations was having Rose's mum be unimportant, being inspired by the ultimately retcons Ray, whatever her name is, not being anybody important, right? The ultimately completely retcon. What's that over there? Never mind. So this, now I find it. He was inspired by Agatha Harkness, a powerful witch who originally appeared in Marvel's Fantastic Four comics, making her MCU debut in 2021 Disney show WandaVision. Yeah, exactly. And they made a whole show about it. And again, they wish they hadn't. Oh, boy, if they could pull that, they would do, because it's going, baby. I was getting so excited about Agatha Harkness arriving in WandaVision, says Russell. She thought it was the most brilliant reveal. I asked her, do you know who Agatha... Who are we talking about? I remember Nicholas Schindler, so I missed that, a producer I worked with on Queer as Folk, getting so excited about Agatha Harkness arriving in WandaVision. She thought it was the most brilliant reveal. I asked her, do you know who Agatha Harkness is? And she says, no, I have no idea. But I'm fascinated by that. You can introduce a character from lore who a modern viewer doesn't know, and they just get the thrill of it. Yeah, it didn't work, Mo, though. It did it. Well, again, it's like these idiot influences you had are just bad. Right? These are, generally speaking, bad ideas. Brilliant real. I asked her, do you know Agatha Harkness? I went, no, I have no idea. I'm fascinated by that. Blah, blah, blah. Also being on Disney Plus now, this is a very deliberate choice to bring back an old BBC enemy. We've cast the same actor, Gabriel Wolf. I know, what a travesty. To prove the show hasn't severed its roots. Well, no, okay. The show has severed its roots by this bullshit over here. Yeah. Chicks with dicks and horny gay doctors wanting to get their leg over. That's the show severing its fucking roots. You know, like I don't recall Patrick Troughton finding out that Zoe had a dick, right? And being fine with it. Where is it? Also being so it's still Doctor Who. No, it's really not. To delve back into your backstory is a very fine thing. Okay, that it was just a damp squib in every way. That's thrilling for new viewers, and for old viewers, it was great reward. No, the old viewers hated it. It totally failed, Russell, right? It failed. I'm sorry, it failed because it was a bad idea. Also, you're guaranteed that the internet will do your work for you. And in the old days, people could feasibly have said, well, people know who Sutek is, and now it's our official site. It's got it's our Instagram post, type the word Sutek, and there's an entire Wikipedia full of history. And again, did that really help you out? No, because the core show was boring and silly. Right? I'm going to bring death to death. Oh, that's so stupid. Painfully bloody stupid. In the script, sometimes it was a shooting draft. It was called Finality, in case anything leaked. It did. When Russell said he was bringing back Sutek, my first job was to go back and watch the 1975 original and say, we want to do something completely opposite to that. Like just completely and totally opposite in any way. We want to have no connective tissue to the original one. So I'm just going to go back and look at it to make sure I don't do anything that is in any way, shape, or form vaguely similar to the original. Right? That is how it seemed to go down, didn't it? Right? That's how it seemed to go down for me. I have to tell you. Let me start grabbing that stuff. I need to get to that. Lex. Doing. Hang on. There. And one more, I think. There you go. Fine, we'll get to that shortly. Where are we up to? We're ringing back. Watch the 1975, and I really understand what this will mean for the fans. Again, you fucked it up royally because it wasn't very good, Russell. Right? You just really genuinely fucked this one up. Where'd it go? Come back here. Everything we came up with, we grew from a seed or something that was in the 70s Sutek, but with a modern twist, we evolved it. Into this, really? It's not that impressive now, is it? It's not. What's up? You okay there, Daisy? My dog just came to say hello. We evolved it. You evolved it into shit. It's Satan. It's satanic, says Murray Goals, Doctor Who's composer. Rossi's longtime collaborator on Queer as Folk and It's a Sing, amongst others, whose imagination was fired up the moment he read the finale scripts. I love satanic themes. I bet you do, darling. I bet you do. I bet you're no stranger to having red wax dripped on your nipples. And I find them very disturbing, and so it's a love-hate thing. I've read these episodes, and I rang up Julie Gardner, executive producer, and said, is it okay to take a little bit, take this little bit into the dark zone? She's like, oh, goodness, yes, crikey, that sounds amazing. Oh, crikey. So it all gets a bit frightening. It didn't for a second. Right? I am sorry. The monsters were naff. The mummy robots were way better. But, of course, you couldn't do that because that's cultural appropriation. You dumb woke fucks. Right? I mean, that's really the only way I can think to describe you. You're a dumb woke fuck. Right? Oh, God. Where was it? Where are we up to? Oh, crikey, yes, that's amazing. So it all gets a bit frightening. I definitely won't let my children watch it. Well, that's probably a bad idea then, isn't it? That's probably not something... I mean, I wouldn't let my children watch it because it's super queer. But, and also my children are grown up. My grandchildren, right? They're 4 and 7. My little ones can't even listen to the first bar of the Goblin song from the Church and Ruby Road one. Yeah, most people feel that way, baby. Although I quite like that. Back in the days of the Goblin song, I was optimistic. Schmuck that I was. And that's not because she has excellent taste. It's because it petrifies her too much. Okay, 4-year-olds are too young for Doctor Who. The Goblin song and Sutek music are too scary for me to do. I do my best work when I find it. So was that Murray Gold? Excuse me. I thought Murray Gold was gay, wasn't he? Like pretty much everybody else. Like literally everybody else in this production. No, I thought so. I guess they adopted. I don't know. I don't know. One sec. Maybe look up his Wikipedia. Does he have kids? Or was that Julie Gardner? Murray Gold. Let's see. You have a Wikipedia? Birth name. I'm not seeing any children. No problem. Here, let's see Julie Gardner. Julie Gardner. Okay. Oh, yeah, she definitely has kids. I remember being super pregnant. So, does she... no, she only has one kid. Was it Jane Tranter saying it? I can't remember. Who was she talking to? They only said shit. I'm confused. Okay, I don't know. I had 2 kids. Murray watched Pyramids. Hello, Daisy. How you doing, darling? Murray watched Pyramids of Mars in 1975. I remember the mummers vividly. So you're going to cut those out with that terrible cultural appropriation. So, he says of the Sutek servitor robots. But my biggest frame of reference was Queer as Folk. Fuck it. Obviously it was. When Vince watches it on VHS and mouths along to the cliffhanger, I bring you Sutek's gift of death. No one is ever going to mouth along to the cliffhanger for this one. It was just so shit. I'm sorry. But my biggest frame of reference is and as though Pyramid Mars is woven into the very fabric of Russell's life and career. Well, it probably is, right? It probably is. It's been there all the time, from Queer as Folk in 1999 to 2024, 25 years later. Yes, even the Devil's Cord, which Russell says Russell, for the first time in modern history, we replayed the pyramid scene where denying the future could. Yeah, it was done so much better with Tom Baker, right? Maybe because he didn't have a gurning Pratt as the Doctor, right? Here, let's pull up that clip. All right, was it episode 1? I'm guessing episode 1. 1 second. But yeah, look, Tom Baker just has so much more gravitas. I mean, like, freakishly more. Hang on. Pyramids of Mars. Do I have it as a... Oh, I don't have it as an MP4. Bollocks. Never mind. I don't bring Sutek's gift of death. Generic sci-fi is boring, says Eastland book holder, and she's absolutely correct. There was change of beings. So we changed it with being taken there by the Doctor to disprove that. So Ruby sees the ruins of London, just as Sarah Jane saw the ruined Earth. I've always wanted to write that scene. Well, unfortunately, I think Robert Holmes wrote it before you. Who wrote Pyramids of Mars? I'm going to guess Robert Holmes. Look it up. Oh, 1 second. Yes, my darling, was my wife's home. Yes. Oh, the Pyramids of Mars. Let's see who wrote that. Robert Holmes. Robert Holmes and Louis Griefer. Who's Louis Griefer? I guess he rewrote it. Okay, fine. I've always wanted to write that scene. It's a very good question. Is the future in danger? At one point, it was in The Unquiet Dead. Russell asked Mark Gatiss, who wrote the 2005 episode, to incorporate that scene that takes Rose Tyler to a desolate present day. That would have made much more sense. Caused by them failing to repel the Gulf in 1869, but the scene was dropped in several drafts later. But here's the thing. In September 22, Russell started to write The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and he had the most extraordinary coincidental text exchange with Mark Gatiss, who had to attend the last night of the West End revival of Anything Goes, starring Bonnie Langford, and Unquiet Dead starred Simon Callow at the Barbican Theatre. Well, but he had to attend that. I mean, like, what? He just had to, right? Just the way it goes. Was it Mark sent me a text next day, said, and recalls Russell, I'll read it to you. He said, marvelous moment at Anything Goes last night, introduced to a charming lady called Felicity, one of Britain's best loved sopranos, Dame Felicity Lott. Well, yes, we all love her, obviously. I mean, nothing says elitist shit like that, do they? I was just saying, I think Bonnie Langford might have been in Doctor Who with my husband. I said, oh, really? Who? She did a Doctor Who, didn't she? Several. Who's your husband? I said, oh, you never heard of him. Gabriel Wolfe. Of course I heard of Gabriel Wolfe. So I sat there reading the text. It says Russell, knowing Bonnie and Gabriel would be in the finale together. What are the odds? He couldn't let on, so he texted me back. Oh my goodness! Haha! The voice of evil, Mel battling Sutek. That would have been glorious to see. I might have to fix that. She bought a gift. She bought Sutek's gift of death to the Barbican. Replied Barb. Mad, isn't it? Says Russell. Okay. Next issue on the set of Empire Death. Millie gives a shooting game. We need, man, they are milking this for all it's bloody worth, aren't they? Blimey. But here, I don't want to juxtapose it with this, where it was. Which one was this? Huge moments we were waiting for. Because I read this last night, and I think it's like number 6. And I just skimmed over it, right? Because I'm about Rusty everything. So his influence it was for to bring Sutek back was Agatha Harkness, right? And like, why would he? And he says his favorite Star Wars movie is The Last Jedi, right? Just like, stop using shit to as your inspiration, right? And then maybe you won't make shit, right? That might happen. But when you're inspired by shit, you will always make shit. There you go. Ruben's mother not being Ruben's mother being important or not being important. Again, this is just such a dumb idea. It's not just Sutek who was tricked into believing the identity of Ruben's mother. Would be some massive revelation. But the thing is, they couldn't do it. It's the trouble they had with Star Wars as well, right? There's no answer they could have really given that would have worked because they didn't work it out at the. They weren't telling a story. That's the bottom line. They were telling beats. How the Mother was just like a compilation of Claudia Winkleman in The Traitors and Sophie Whitaker, Jodie Whittaker in the 13th Doctor. If that doesn't scream mystery, what does? And then there's all the snow that Ruby can conjure up out of nowhere. The Doctor can talk about memory being time travel, but until he's blue in the face or in the blue box. But it doesn't change the fact that he was kind of horrified that Ruby could do something like this. Fundamentally, Doctor Who was setting Ruby's mother up for as an otherworldly puzzle to solve. The rug that she was just a scared teenage girl doesn't work, partly because the revelation appears to be dismissed out of hand by the Peter McCall and the Church of and the Doctor in the Church on Ruby Road. There's no wonder that the fans got so annoyed about being misled by Rusty Davies. Worse still, some fans are now speculating that Ruby's father was. Oh, fuck off! I can't. Don't even start with that, right? So I think that there's a article about Jane Tranter as well. Grazinia de Prima speaks out about Strictly, I am not a monster. Okay. Blimey, Sonia's back in EastEnders? Bloody hell. Fine. We'll go sci-fi. Umbrella Academy, so not interested. Avoiding that like the plague. Deeply uninterested, right? Deeply uninterested. So it was in the Doctor Who section. About Hugh Edwards being edited out. I think it's Jane Tranter. That's it. I think it was Jane Tranter. Let's say she was in the news. Oh, there we go. So, Jane Tranter of Bad Wolf. HBO's finance drama Industry is set to launch its 3rd season on Sunday. I haven't seen the first 2 seasons. I really liked Succession, right? I thought that was great. It's a marquee placement previously held by HBO's biggest shows, including Euphoria, which apparently launched Sydney Sweeney's career. So good for her. Succession, Game of Thrones, and House of the Dragon. It's quite a big shoes to fill for the modest series producer Jane calls the little show that could. But let's see what she's got to say about Doctor Who. Because it's 3rd season of a show I've never seen. Tranter spoke with Deadline about nurturing the series of the first 2 seasons. She also broke down expectations for the upcoming 3rd season as co-founder, which also produces Doctor Who. Co-founder band was also produces Doctor Who, BBC, and Disney Plus. The former BBC executive herself also detailed more about production company's philosophy of making TV. Well, okay, we like it woke. So taking the Sunday night slot. Okay. I'm not really that interested. Let's talk about Mickey and Con. I have no interest in this series. Let me hear about Doctor Who. What excites you most about season 3? Kit Harington. No, apparently he's in it. As a mother of twins, I know the comparison really. No. Why don't we just do this? We'll do Doctor Who. Doctor Who. Okay, so. Okay, Bad Wolf also produces Doctor Who for Disney Plus. How have you felt about the reception of the first new season of Doctor Who on Disney Plus? And what do you think about its longevity? I get the feeling we're about to get a lot of bullshit, right? Brace yourself for bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. We feel good about the first season. I mean, not about the ratings and everybody hating it, but we generally feel quite good about it. Just as industry was really a really small experiment at start. I think this new building of a franchise between BBC and Disney Plus, it's a whole new iteration, and us coming. Please, can we just have the apocalypse to end this? Oh God, it will make life so much better. It was just a whole new adventure. We're really pleased with the show that we've made. Yeah, you are. Nobody watching it is, are they? No. It's a whole new adventure. We're pleased with it. There's a whole new and there's a whole new audience being driven to the show who haven't watched Doctor Who. No, there's not. No, there's not. In the past, it has been exactly what Rusty Davies set out to do. What, like, again, have it be a complete failure. So that's really good. We announced last week that we're doing The War Between the Land and the Sea, already paid for, and the initial deal with Disney. There's no new stuff, which is the first time there's a mini-series within the whole universe. I mean, there's Torchwood, the Sarah Jane Adventures, right? We're so thrilled the BBC and Disney Plus have awarded us this. This was part of your initial pitch. Man, they just lie, these people, don't they? Unbelievable. They just, like, relentlessly lie about everything. We're still in the edits, very early days of the edit for season 2. Again, please, Apocalypse, come now. Oh, end this nightmare, which obviously won't go out for another year or so. So it's very exciting. We're right in the middle of the journey. It's very exhilarating. I guess it's exhilarating when you completely and totally fail, at everything, in every way, shape, and form. There we go. Anything else in this issue of Doctor Who magazine? I don't think so. I think, the new one's out on Thursday, I believe. Hang on, where is it? Next issue, Somerset. God, it's they're August 15th. Yeah, this is out next Thursday. But they're also there's also lightweight Doctor Who magazine. It's just so dumb, right? Dumb and lazy. I'm sorry. What's the name? Quinn has been Jason Quinn has been really bad at this job, right? Just really epically failed at this job. I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, look, it's about 2 hours. I think I'm going to wrap up then, as I've been on for 2 hours. Yeah, I think that sounds like a plan. I am a bit cream crackered. I don't mind telling you. Right, I do not. Oh, actually, we were going to go over this. Here, let me go over this before we mosey along. Here, 1 second. Need that and that. I forgot to open that and that. Doink. So what is this? Let me see if we can get this in order. Right. Okay. So on Friday, I believe. Right. Now I've lost my place. On Friday, I believe we had the Doctor Who podcast day. Right. This is like that Dan from Type 40 was very much involved in, it went quite well. But boy, it got attacked by toxic fandom. Like, got really, really nastily attacked by toxic fandom. And Dan has been called every name under the bloody sun. It's just disgusting. I mean, honestly, it is. So here, this is... I'm not sure about who all these people are, but it started with this thing. Hashtag Doctor Who Podcast Day organizer and Type 40 host Dan Hadley frequently engages with far-right figures on his platform. Is that me? Including Holocaust denier Peter Sweden and Cole, I wouldn't even rape you, Benjamin. Is that a Holocaust denier? Who is... Let's look at Peter Sweden. Peter Sweden. Peter Sweden, Holocaust, maybe? Rational. Okay, no. Peter Sweden this is a Wikipedia. Peter Sweden is a far right speaker and activist. Again, everyone's far right now. Who was originally a Holocaust denier, white nationalist, extreme homophobe. Well, you can say the same thing about Tommy Robertson, but I think he's not that now, right? These would have never been on Type 40. Again, at no point has this person ever been on Type 40. What is he talking about? He does not represent us as a community. Hashtag Doctor Who Podcast, hashtag Doctor Who Podcast 24. Like, again, these people are full, absolutely full to the brim of sheer, complete, utter hatred. Like, this is just not true. Cole Benjamin is from the Lotus Eaters, right? Right, okay, so he's never been on Type 40. What are we engaged with? So that was J.G. Moore, J.G. Moore writer. This really means that Dan's doing well and they're jealous, right? This is universally what it means. Writer credits include What Culture and Den and the Geek, quoted in Daily Star and Irish Independent. Well, that's hardly a ringing endorsement. I would advise prominent figures in hashtag Doctor Who fandom to seriously reconsider appearing on Type 40 from this point. What an absolute piece of shit. What a defamatory, nasty piece of low-life shit you are, J.G. Moore, right? And what's this? My twin brothers, Cy Hart and Fraser Gregory, nostalgia, connotation, intelligence. They're going to read this, are they? Tackling the timeless show. So, yeah, apparently this was all set up by... I don't know. There was what is it? There's a podcast that they can't stand. Was it Strangers in Space? Oh, is it Corner to Corner? I can't. But it's obviously people who had an absolute hatred of Dan, and so they like podcast day, but they don't want him involved with it. I mean, like, God. I mean, again, why can't we all just coexist? Why are these people such insanely hateful cunts? I mean, I just don't get it. It's just disgraceful, isn't it? And frankly, I would boycott all of these podcasts. Anybody being involved in them at all. Corner to Corner, Mickey who gives a flux. I don't know. But like again, it's dislike of the unlike. It's sheer, utter, unadulterated hatred of anybody who doesn't think exactly the same as you all the time. These people they're just the worst, right? They are absolutely the worst. I really wish they would just get a life. Genuinely, I wish they would get a life. Fine, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head off and get life. I better go and edit out that bit of Captain America from the stream so I don't get copyright struck ASAP. So I'm going to hit the end broadcast button. I'm going to hit it again. Say good.